All right, welcome to the Everything Comics and Anime podcast. My name is Abel, and I'm here with Kane.
What's up?
All right, what do you what do you want to talk about today? What we talking about? I got the Joe Button memory right now. What we talking about?
We're talking about how we're gonna take over the world. No, we said,
Pinky in the Brain.
yeah, I miss those guys.
Yeah, brilliant cartoon.
Oh yeah, way ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Spider-Man and Mr. Victor Freeze and Mr. D from Vampire Hunter D.
Okay. Well, first let's talk about Spider Man. So you said the Peter Parker Spider Man, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Well, we all know the origin story of Peter Parker. He was bitten by a spider. He was bitten by a spider, a radioactive spider, and his uncle got shot and killed.
and he
And
cried.
and he cried with great power. Excuse me, with great power comes with great responsibility. But in terms of like Peter Parker, like you asked me, it's kind of like it's all about what version of Peter Parker you like because you got the kid Spider Man, then you got the adult Spider Man. I'm talking about the Spider Man that's broke and got a job
Yup.
and can barely pay rent.
And he's more of an asshole than his kid counterpart.
Yeah, he actually is. I personally prefer the. Well, I mean, I like all versions of Spider Man, but Spider Man in his purest incarnation is a kid. That was his very first incarnation, a 16, 17-year-old kid in high school.
Yeah, but he can't stay in high school forever
Yeah,
though.
he can't stay in high school.
I mean,
He
he
can't stay
he
in high
was in
school forever, though, yeah.
yeah, he was in high school for what? It seems like forever.
Yeah, he was in high school for like 20 years. But, like just like in terms of the movies, you know how like they right now Tom Holland is the original kid incarnation of Spider-Man. But from what I read that he's supposed to be doing 9 movies, which is 3 trilogies.
Yep.
So this current trilogy is gonna be him in high school. The second trilogy is gonna be him in college, and the third trilogy is him as an adult. But I personally feel like if they decide to go with certain villains, I feel like they should save Venom and Carnage until his adult years. I don't think he's ready for Venom and not this version of Spider Man. I don't think he's ready for Venom and Carnage right now.
Well, tell that to the movies because they're already talking about a Tom
Oh
Holland
well, yeah, that's
and
right. Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy crossover. And from what Tom Hardy's been saying, he's been wanting it forever since he donned the Venom suit because he said the only reason why he donned the Venom persona is because his son is a huge fan of Venom.
Yeah, yeah. He did say that. Uh, I personally feel like if they do this second trilogy, if it's all that's true, I think that they should save Doc. If they doing Doc Ock again, they should do Doc Ock for college and Felicia Hardy because since he has a girlfriend now, I can see Felicia Hardy popping up in college, and then there's that temptation for him to mess with other women and stuff. But me personally, I never really liked it. Black Cat. I felt Black Cat was a straight up Catwoman ripoff.
Oh, she definitely is a Catwoman
Straight
ripoff.
up Catwoman
I
ripoff.
mean, they're both basically the same. But Catwoman wants to sleep with Batman. I mean, yeah, she already did, but
Black Cat wants to sleep with Peter Parker.
exactly, she steals things. Catwoman steals things. They both after a cat.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I don't think Stan Lee created. I don't know if he did or not.
I don't believe
But
so.
I think Black Cat came later. I think she was created like in the '80s sometime. Because pretty much all like the Spider Man's characters like in this that came around in the '60s was created. I think Black Cat came later. Excuse me.
Especially her latest run in the comics, it's really, really bad. I mean, it's a very typical. Oh, look at me and everything. I
Yeah.
can do this, just like the whole thing with Catwoman, and
Uh,
Black Cat was actually made in July 1979.
Yep. See, later.
Very later.
Yeah, very later. Now, let me ask you this. Now, the Spider-Man villains that I don't know that much about, but I'm interested in is Jackal. You know about the Jackal?
Jackal is He's a bit not a bit. He's batshit crazy.
Carnage crazy.
No, not Carnage crazy. Carnage, man, Carnage. We already know why Carnage was actually created. We both know the reason why.
Yeah, for
It's
Venom,
because-
right?
No, the real reason why Carnage was made was because they saw how popular Joker was in DC, so they wanted a psychopath of their own.
Oh, okay, I see.
But
Yeah.
as far as Jackal, he's a joke. They try to make him into this major villain who can do all these things, but no one takes him seriously. The readers don't take him seriously. The artists don't even take him seriously. Even the guy who created him, I think the guy who created him is the only one who takes him seriously.
Because I know Stan Lee didn't make Jackal. Yeah, Spider Man. Spider Man has a vast area of villains, but they're great depending on like what their motivations are. Because Spider Man, I think he's one of the few heroes where all of his villains are directly connected to him emotionally, almost like I think. In most incarnations, Doc Ock was one of his teachers or something like that.
Yeah,
or one
so that some of them was his teachers. One instance, he was.
I know the Lizard was one of his teachers.
Oh yeah, the Lizard has always been his teacher.
Yeah.
One incarnation of Doc Ock, he was a teacher. Another one was a counselor. Another one, he was Peter Parker's boss. One, he was an intern. You know.
Did you see on? I didn't mean to interrupt you, but did you see on the Spider-Verse they made Doc Ock a woman?
And I mean, it's the multiverse. I mean,
well, it is though. Yeah,
you got to remember. I mean, in one universe, Spider-Man isn't a Spider-Man; it's Spider-Gwen.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. This might be unpopular opinion. I don't like Spider-Gwen all like that.
And she was made late. I mean, the whole multiverse thing. In my opinion, they don't know what they're doing with the multiverse.
Right.
I mean, look at the Ultimate Universe, for example. It was going strong. It had a strong beginning and everything, and then it just became, retarded, stupid. It became trash.
So you're more of a DC guy than I am. So would you say that DC's multiverse is better than Marvel's multiverse?
Because DC's been having a multiverse longer, and they know what they're doing. I mean, yes, they slipped up a couple of times, but not as silly as Marvel with the Ultimate Universe, where Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch were not only brother and sister, but
they
were lovers.
Yeah, that was bad.
It was disgusting.
Incest. That was disgusting. That was bad. I don't know what the writer was thinking about.
And Wolverine watched the whole thing, and I'm thinking to myself, so Wolverine watched the whole thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's.
Why did he watch the whole thing? Okay, he caught them doing it. But did he really have to stay and watch the whole thing?
Yeah, Wolverine, voyeurism, mother. Anyway, yeah. I see. That's what I was trying to tell you that one day about. I feel like Marvel and DC, they both do silly things in comics, and like I feel like some of this stuff is for shock value. Just like I told you about how Captain America was revealed to be a Hydra agent the whole time. That was a clear shock value. That and when Superman his powers is now he's able to kryptonite kills him and powers him up at the same time.
No, that's Ultraman.
Fuck out it. That's Ultraman.
Ultraman that powers him up.
I could have sworn that was Superman the New 52 that where the kryptonite powers him.
When he crushed it up and sniffed it, right?
Yeah.
That's Ultraman. That's forever evil.
Oh wow. That's what I'm saying. Like, and then like I said, like I always tell you how they made Batman a god / metahuman.
No, that was just for the Dark Side War.
So wait, I'm sorry, but what was that comic? What was that comic where Batman, his eyes was all glowing and he said, "I am a god now"? Like, come on, man.
That's when he took over the Morbius chair. During the Dark Side War. I mean, look what it. I mean, it was New 52. I mean, do I have to go into any further how?
You know what? New 52 gets a lot of bad flack though.
I mean, they had a couple great storylines like the Court of Owls, Batman Endgame, Death of the Family. Sorry. Forever Evil. I mean, that's the ones that says off the top of my head. But what made Court of Owls so amazing was Batman has all the villains, you know, in a grip of his hand. Like, yeah, you guys fear me. But it turns out Court of Owls have been watching him the whole time, just letting him do what he wanted. But in actuality, it was the Court of Owls had Gotham, not Batman.
So they was playing him from behind the scene. He thought he had everything under control, but they was really playing him.
Yep. And the reason why I brought Batman into this is, and we're talking about Spider-Man,
yeah.
is because they're in one-shot series with Batman and Spider-Man. You know, I wish they took it further, but I guess Joker did have something to do with Peter Parker's life. You know, and I wish they took it, you know, a bit further, but they didn't, because it's Marvel versus DC all the damn time. I mean, it is what it is with them. But it was still an amazing story, though.
When this came out?
Early 90s, I believe.
Okay.
This is when he still had the yellow and black emblem.
Okay, yeah, that's classic Batman. But yeah, back on Spider-Man. So let me ask you this: Miles Morales, that he got bitten by a spider too, right?
Yeah, he's from the Ultimate Universe.
Okay, yeah, since Miles is kind of like a new character, he only been around for like 6 or 7 years.
Over that.
Yeah, it was actually no, it was 8 years, 8 or 9. They said it was like 2010 or 11 when he was created. So yeah, yeah, I thought that you know he became Spider-Man some other way. From what I first read, that one of those comics, Peter Parker died or he got killed or something like that.
Yeah, that's the Ultimate Universe. During Ultimatum.
Yeah.
I guess it was him and Hulk against somebody, and Peter was like, Hulk, calm down. Because Hulk, in the Ultimate Universe, Hulk is a careless, cannibalistic rage monster. You know, unlike the 616 universe, where he's still a rage monster, but he doesn't eat people. But yeah, and a lot of people can argue that it wasn't Hulk that caused all this, that they can actually blame Magneto because he caused all this, but regardless, you know, Hulk was versing some villain and it caused his death.
Yeah. With excuse me, my voice all messed up today. Yeah. I just thought that was interesting how they killed how Peter Parker basically had to die, you know, in order for Miles to become Spider-Man. So Miles he's not Spider-Man in 616, right?
Not the original.
Okay.
I mean, in 616, it's Peter Parker. But in the Ultimate Universe, where Miles was from, it was Peter Parker, but that Peter Parker's dead. During the Ultimate Agenda or something like that. I mean, that whole storyline it had great potential, but typical Marvel fashion, they screwed up the ending big time, saying, you know, there's no such thing as mutants, you know, they just kidnap humans and did experiments on them.
Yeah.
It made no sense. It contradicts a lot of, like, the X-Men comics. It contradicts a lot of other things that happened during that time.
Hey, you know, I read somewhere a couple years ago, so do you consider Spider-Man a mutant?
No.
Because it's in some publications he's listed as a mutant, and yeah, in some publications he's listed as a mutant. I mean, I understand that you have to be a mutant. In order to be a mutant, you have to be born with the mutant gene. Some people say human mutate. Some people label him as a mutant. Me personally, I think he's a human mutate. I don't think he's a mutant.
A mutate, definitely, because look how he got his powers. He was bitten by a radioactive spider. Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, if that spider did not bite him, he would have just had a normal teenage life.
Yeah. And even with the movies before Spider-Man popped up in Civil War, when they knew that they was gonna put Spider-Man in there, it's some MCU book. I don't know exact. Maybe it was a kid's book. I don't know exactly what it was. They had him listed as a mutant.
I mean,
I'm all like, you gotta be kidding me.
like every single time I think about this, it brings me back to the amazing. The Spider-Man cartoons from the '90s
Yeah.
when it was with the X-Men, and Beast flat out told him, "You're not a mutant." You know,
Yeah, you're not
Iron
a
Man tests
mutant,
like,
bro.
"You're not a mutant."
You're not a mutant, bro. And see, and they even like with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, they tried to kind of like slide the mutant thing in there because he had the organic web.
Yep.
But Spider-Man is not supposed to have organic web. It's supposed to have mechanical shooters, bro.
Exactly. I mean that's the one thing that's always comical with him. It's like, oh my god, I didn't refill him again.
Yeah, and see, I like that type of Spider-Man. See, my Spider-Man is I like him more as a scientist because when he runs, he has to know how much web he has, and when he runs out, he might be in trouble.
Oh yeah.
He had to learn how to conserve his web. But see, this is my one. I'm gonna get back on the movies 1 second. Now, this is my one problem with the movies that I don't care for. I mean, it's cool that it fits to the story, but I'm sorry, bro. I'm a Spider-Man traditionalist, and I kind of don't like the high-tech Iron Man Jr. Spider-Man. Outside of the Iron Spider, that's cool because that's the Iron Spider. But as far as his regular suit, nah, man, no. Spider-Man for me, Spider-Man is not a high-tech character. I mean, he uses web shooters, but that's about it.
I mean, look at here, they finally let him into the Avengers. I mean,
Yeah.
it was after Disassemble,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
Scarlet Witch went freaking nuts and tried to kill everybody, but
Yeah.
instead wind up destroying most of the mutant population.
Yeah.
But when the new Avengers came out, which is still honestly one of my favorites, because they had Wolverine, and Wolverine, he hates taking orders,
Yeah,
like,
he's a rebel. He doesn't
It's
take
like-
orders from anybody.
he's like, look, dude, I've been alive longer than you. I know what I'm doing. Just don't worry about it. Type of person, or go bleep yourself kind of person.
Yeah.
But they finally let him in the Avengers that year. And if you really look at everything Spider-Man's done, he's been in everybody's books. He's been in Thor. He's been in. Oh, that sounded so weird. He was in the Thor series.
Pause.
He was guest featured with Thor, Fantastic Four, X-Men, X Factor, New Mutants who he even appeared in.
Fantastic Four.
I just said
Oh,
that.
you just said that. You did say that. He was Future Foundation. Yeah.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
he left the Avengers and joined the Future Foundation after what happened with Johnny, but I'm glad that didn't last long. I didn't like that suit at all. Like
The white suit.
yeah,
Nah,
and they try to make him too serious. Like Spider-Man is not. He's serious, but he has his jokes. Like he has to keep talking.
That's his whole character. Like Spider-Man, he not a clown, but like he talks a lot. Put it like that. He talks a lot, even with his villains. There's a lot of like banter going back and forth. He likes to talk, so you can't make Spider-Man this serious disciplinarian like Hal Jordan or somebody. Spider-Man's just gonna be Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the one thing that's always got to be about him is his mouth, And it's funny how Marvel may finally put Deadpool and Spider-Man into serious, and it's like it's when they're fighting villains instead of them arguing with the villains, those two are arguing with each other instead of beating the villain up instead.
That's hilarious.
Like, are you guys gonna fight yourselves? Or are you guys gonna beat me up? Kind of scenario.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, I like that Spider-Man and Deadpool run. I hope they put it in live action or I don't know. Maybe I don't know if this version of Spider-Man is really ready for Deadpool yet. But I don't know. Who knows?
I think Aunt May would be probably like, I banned you from going near that guy. Like, you go near him, you're probably gonna be more in trouble than you already are, and already New York wants to kill you because of freaking Jameson over here.
Yeah. Let's talk about Miles Morales. So Miles does. So let me ask you this: does Miles have the same villains Peter has, or he has his own set of his own rogues gallery that he has to fight?
I mean, he's with the champions right now, so him having the same villains as Spider-Man, no, because he's with the champions, and the champions they fight other villains.
Oh, okay.
And they know that that Spider-Man isn't the Spider-Man they're used to. Like, like if Sandman's running amok right now, like he'll feel insulted if Miles went after him instead of Peter. But even though he doesn't know their real names, he knows they're two different people. Like, I don't want you. You're a waste of my time. Go away. Plus, aren't you supposed to be with the champions? Go somewhere. And plus, isn't your girlfriend Kamala Khan looking for you right now?
Oh yeah, that is right. That's I don't know. I don't understand why people get Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel. Well, Captain Marvel was named Miss Marvel at a point, but whenever somebody say Miss Marvel, I actually instantly think of Kamala Khan. Some people just use Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel like the same person. Like, no, not really. Kamala Khan to me is Miss Marvel.
She only took the name because she idolized Carol.
Carol, yeah.
And Kamala Khan, the relationship between Kamala Khan and Miles right now is a lot of people don't care, but because she's Pakistani and a lot of Pakistani readers they take offense to it because, she's not supposed to have a boyfriend.
Oh wait, that's what happens in that.
Yeah, she's with Miles.
Oh, I'm tripping. Yeah, I'm like Pakistan. Okay, yeah.
And yeah, because she has a boyfriend with Miles. Miles Morales. A lot of people are just mad about it. But the thing is like, me as a Pakistani person myself, like, just get over it. It's a book. It's comic books. We go into comics to escape the real world.
Exactly.
Just who cares? They've done dumber things before. Do I have to mention the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver being lovers incident again?
And you know what? I'm glad you brought that up because that moves into my well, I know we kind of going off on a tangent, but I want to ask you about what do you think about when they changed the race of comic book characters? And that goes for everything in movie adaptations, comic adaptations, all that. Because I seen this video a couple nights ago about this dude, I forgot his name, but he was going on this rant about like, you shouldn't make certain characters like, it's like from like Mary Jane, for example. Mary Jane is traditionally depicted as a white redheaded girl.
Man.
Yeah, but of course in the movies, she's a mixed Daria emo type chick. And some people they basically saying that basically white characters should be white characters, black characters should be black characters. And some people don't feel like they putting too much politics in it because some people didn't like what's the Green Lantern name? Some people didn't like Simon Baz because he was he's like Middle Eastern.
He's Middle Eastern.
Yeah, some people didn't like Simon Baz. Some people don't like those type of characters because they feel like it's getting too political. But like you say, hey, it's freaking comic books, man.
The whole thing with the whole Mary Jane thing. I mean, look at every single movie Spider-Man's made. That Mary Jane was a joke to begin with, and they never had a white girl redhead. Even though, yes, forgot his name. The one with the awful Spider-Man dance from Spider-Man 3. Tobey Maguire, yeah. Even though they dyed her hair, it was painfully obvious it was dyed.
Yeah, because she's blonde in real life. Yeah.
And you could see the blonde trying to come out of there.
Yeah. That was a bad job by the makeup department.
Oh, yeah. I thought the whole thing was a bad job with Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, the whole movie was I was about to cuss. The whole movie was a freaking train wreck. But, yeah,
just
like...
dancing.
Oh, yeah, man. That killed the franchise.
Right.
Yeah, but... Yeah, that whole Mary Jane thing, like... I think I'm down with like the whole diversity thing, but see, I don't like it when diversity just becomes this buzzword to the point where we just gonna do it just to do it. Like characters like Black Panther, he can't be nothing else but black. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's no way in hell you can change Black Panther. It's that's what he is.
I don't think you never read Ultimates 3.
They made him white.
You didn't know who Black Panther was?
No, I'm talking about the T'Challa Black Panther
There was no T'Challa
in the Ultimates 3.
in Ultimates 3.
So there was no Black Panther in the Ultimates 3.
There was a Black Panther.
He was white.
It was Steve Rogers.
You lied.
I swear to God.
I probably can't even find it on here, but hold
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, but me and Jordan was talking about it not too long ago. Like, you know, and on the Ultimates 3, when you're looking it up, you gotta be careful because remember, there is an Ultimate 616 run by Captain Marvel.
So at first, I thought you was gonna talk about because I forgot about him. I thought you was gonna talk about Casper Cole,
Oh, no.
but isn't he like mixed or something?
Something like that. Look, who they have right now, she's killing it.
No, I don't have no problem with her for real, for real.
Oh yeah, no, I don't see. I mean, I hear on social media from time to time. Oh, she's supposed to be this. Dude, she's doing a better job than the other Mary Janes in the
But
past.
you know what? But they mixed. They kind of mixed Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy
Yeah, but he
in a
didn't
way.
meet Gwen until college.
Wait, I thought Gwen came first, then Mary Jane.
Oh yeah, you know what? Yes, you're right.
Yeah,
But I think
because
I-
Gwen died and then he met Mary Jane.
Yeah, but I think they're gonna introduce Mary Jane. I mean, Gwen Stacy. You know, later down the line because there's still no Green Goblin yet.
You know what? They said that they're mainly doing villains that haven't been done in movies before, but I think you gotta have Green Goblin because I honestly think that in the movies when Stark Tower was getting bought out, either one or two people bought it, Norman Osborn or Fantastic Four.
Oh, you forgot one more. There's a third one.
Who?
Kingpin.
Well,
He
because
was rich, but yeah. Then
but
again,
see,
he's
I'm
married
trying,
now, too.
but see, I'm trying to because I'm thinking about the MCU version of Kingpin. He got money, but I don't think he got it like that.
Oh, he is mayor now.
Did he went to, no, you're right. He is mayor. I just remembered
Yeah.
on Daredevil. He is mayor. Yeah. I can see those. I can see those by them buying the building, but
But I doubt Kingpin will. I don't think so. I should have never brought up Kingpin. He won't do it. He's mayor, but he won't do it.
yeah, I think this version of Spider-Man too young to even. No, let me ask you: you think Kingpin is more of a Daredevil? I'm talking about comics now. Is he more of a Daredevil villain or a Spider-Man villain? Traditionally, for me, I thought he was a Spider-Man villain, but now when I grew up and started really getting into comics, he better off to me as a Daredevil villain
Oh, I mean,
because of what Daredevil deals with. Like he's a lawyer, so
Yeah, I mean,
it makes
that's-
more sense.
yeah, I mean, because Kingpin, Wilson he's always getting away with stuff,
Yeah,
you know, and it's always Matt Murdock going against him.
yeah,
So he's like, no, I'm not done with you yet. I want you back in court.
yeah.
So I'm gonna
yeah,
beat you. I'm gonna beat the hell out of you as Daredevil. I make you get arrested and face you as Matt Murdock in court and lose again and do the whole thing all over again.
Yeah. You know what? On that Daredevil show, I was a little. I think this third season was freaking great, but I was a little disappointed because it was supposed to be based off the Born Again storyline. And in the Born Again storyline, Kingpin took everything. Once he found out that Daredevil was Matt Murdock, he took everything from him.
Oh, yeah.
He took his sperm, he took his money, he even took Karen from him.
Shoot, he even took his damn couches.
Yeah, he took everything
Even
from
the
him.
beach towels, even the freaking shower curtain.
But
for
then,
Christ's
yeah,
sake.
and then in the show, I don't even think I don't even think he even took Karen in the show. Like Karen had a storyline on her own.
Yeah, but she wound up getting AIDS or HIV, or one of the two.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, it was epic when he beat the a lot of Kingpin at the end though. That
Oh
was
yeah.
epic, but still, like it wasn't nothing like the comic Born Again though. Cause man, maybe because it was a TV show. Like if it had been like a movie or something, they
Yeah.
probably wouldn't went way harder with it.
No,
But
but if you really think about it, all the comic book movies, the only comic book movie I had to say was most accurate than everything else was The Crow. I mean, it was
it is.
just very minor details was the reason why it wasn't 100% comic book accurate. Like one of them was giving Eric a last name.
Yeah.
You know, in the comics, he did not have a last name, but it was just little things like that. Did you see that Black Panther was actually, you know,
Yeah, man. I just seen it. I was like, I think that's a shock value thing too, though. But I mean, I'm surprised ain't nobody in there never really said nothing about that.
I mean, the Ultimate Universe is dead. I mean, there's really nothing you can say. I mean, everybody's dead. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Captain America was a racist. I mean, he really was. He was a low key racist, no matter what anybody says. You know, uh, Thor was actually a hippie. Uh, Hank was 100% woman beater.
Oh well, you know they was gonna evolve into that soon.
I mean, he used a can of bug spray on her. I mean, come on now. I mean, when he smacked her in the 616 universe, people were pissed. I mean, when
And
he
that was like what, the '60s or the '70s. It was
something,
mad then.
yeah.
Just imagine they did that now. Marvel will be burnt to the ground.
I mean, come on, they basically did. They did more than that. He used a can of bug spray on his wife.
Hank was like Ike Turner out here, man. Janet was Tina Turner. Just like I told you the other day on the phone, man. That's why they keep trying to make Scott the Ant Man,
Oh, yeah.
because they will never make Hank the Ant Man.
That's why before we go back to Spider Man, they fused Hank with Ultron because, like I said, Hank is one of the pillars of the Avengers. He's one
He
of the
found
founding
founding
members.
members. Him and Watts founding members. Yeah.
That's why they can never truly get rid of Hank. That's why they fused him with Ultron.
Mm.
I mean, I like this version of Ultron. He's a deceiving, mofo, but so far I like this Ultron better than those two separated. I really like what they're doing with him. But as far as the whole thing with Miles with having the same villains as Peter, he'll come across them every once in a while, but he's with the champions. He's always going to be fighting global threats. If you guys can see my fingers, I'm doing a little quotation.
The air, yeah, he doing the air quotes.
Global threats.
Now, let me ask you this: do you prefer the regular Spider-Man, or do you prefer the black suit Spider-Man, where he got the Venom symbiote from the Secret Wars?
I mean, I'd go without it because, the suit would have to be constantly talking to him, and everybody already thinks Spider Man is crazy as is.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll really put him in a loony bin. And if you just see him just talking to himself when he's actually talking to the symbiote itself.
Mm-hmm.
He can't pull it off like Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock he doesn't have to verbally talk, he just thinks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he communicates with the Venom symbiote.
So,
Even though it was revealed later on that that symbiote was broken and they had to fix it, which still made no sense to me.
so did Spider-Man ever fight those Venom knockoffs like Riot and whatever the girl Venom was? I just know about Riot. I didn't. It's like three of them or four of them outside of Venom and Carnage. I just know about Riot.
He had an encounter with all of them. Every single one of them. Spider-Man actually helped Venom during the Lethal Protector series.
Oh, really?
Yeah. During
Oh.
Lethal Protector, Spider-Man was actually in it. But, yeah, Spider-Man has encountered every single symbiote. He's encountered Venom. He's encountered the other ones. He's encountered Carnage. And, yes, he's even encountered Toxin.
That's what the other one was. Toxin.
Yeah, Toxin's
Yeah.
Carnage's son.
Holy shit. You know what? Carnage might be one of my favorite Spider-Man villains, but I just feel like maybe I don't know. It just seems like he's not around a lot to me.
Well, when in the beginning, yeah, he was because, like I mentioned, Carnage was made because of Joker.
Yeah, you said it earlier. Yeah,
Because Marvel wanted their own
because
psychopath.
Carnage actually came along like in like the early '90s. It was like '91, something like, yeah. It had
Something
to be.
like that.
It had to be like in like late '80s, early '90s. Because you notice like in the comics in the period of the '80s, that was the rise of the anti-hero and like the adult superheroes and all the adult characters in comic books basically. So that's when comics started making a turn and telling people that this is not just for kids, because that's the '80s is where Batman became the Batman that we know today. The '80s had all the dark Joker stories. I think the Long Halloween, and I think that's where the Killing Joke came out. I think that's, yeah, the Dark Knight Returns. All these dark stories came around in the '80s. That was when the comics started taking a turn for the adults. And even like in the early '90s, Deadpool was created in like 1991.
Yeah, but he wasn't crazy then. He was just
He was like kind of like a stock character back then.
no, he was just a straight mercenary.
Though he wasn't like talking.
No, he wasn't crazy. He was pissed off, but he wasn't crazy.
So you was the one that told me that I don't know if I figured this out. I don't know if you forgot you told me or not, but you was the one that said that Deadpool was basically a response to Deathstroke.
Yeah, I mean it's a dead giveaway. I mean look at Deathstroke's name.
Wade with Slade Wilson, Wade Wilson.
Both in the military,
both mercenaries, both have swords.
Well, the only difference is the couple differences is Deathstroke has like one eye and he's a genius, and Deadpool has both eyes and he's fucking crazy. Oh, pardon my language. He's just crazy.
All right, well, we keep getting off Spider Man. All right,
Right.
yeah. Now, what I was getting ready to say. So, who's your favorite Spider Man villain?
Favorite one, I would have to say. I would actually have to say Green Goblin because he's just so relentless.
Spider Man got too many villains, but
Out of relentlessness, I mean, who's more obsessed with him than Green Goblin?
well, Green Goblin. Well, everybody kind of personally knows Spider Man. Green Goblin is
Norman.
is Norman. But wait, was Harry Hobgoblin?
I
Or
believe
what?
so.
Or was he any? Because it's Hobgoblin, it's Demogoblin, and it's something else.
He does so many goblins, I lost track. The only two I keep, you know, track of is Hobgoblin, who hasn't shown his face in a very long time, and Green Goblin, who just won't leave Peter alone. But in the comics right now, Norman doesn't know that his name is Norman. He thinks his name is Cassidy. Because the Carnage symbiote took over. But
Cletus Cassidy.
yeah. But I like this incarnation of Carnage and Green Goblin because like it really pushed Peter to the brink. It pushed him to the brink of insanity. Pushed him to the brink of being broken. It really pushed him. You know, like everything he couldn't even walk down the street to get a newspaper without something with the now he was calling himself Red Goblin because of the Carnage symbiote doing something to him. But as far as Carnage, like I miss the Carnage how it was in the 90s when he first came out, because this is me blaming, you know, who bought them out, and I will not say their name. Watering him down.
Here we go. I'm not gonna say their name either, but but yeah.
They watered him down. I mean, Cassidy's a serial killer.
He was on death row, man.
Right. I mean,
he was on death row, man. Like he was on death row for like some years for murdering somebody.
He was no for big no. That's you're talking about murdering somebody. He's a serial killer.
Yeah, murdering people. He's a serial killer.
Every single time he got out, there was a pile of dead bodies lying around because of him. But after even though I like what the new people are doing with Marvel because they can back up Marvel like movie wise, but as far as comic wise, they're just watering him down. Like if they got to remember that at the end of the day, it's not the movies that made Marvel.
It's the comics that made Marvel.
Exactly.
But see, that's what I'm saying. You know what? I don't. It. I don't really disagree with it, but it's kind of like, cause see, I understand comics and movies at the same time. Some people don't like the fact that the movies are clearly influencing the comics because when you read the comics now, especially the Marvel comics, they all resemble like the current actors almost. Like I swear I was in the library one day and I was reading one of those Iron Man issues. Tony Stark looked just like Robert Downey, like literally, almost like Robert Downey Jr.
I mean, well, that one, yeah.
It wasn't connected to the MCU. It was just a regular 616 comic, and Tony Stark looking like Robert Downey Jr.
Well, because Robert Downey Jr. he is Iron Man.
Well, he is Iron Man. Yeah.
I mean, like anybody who thinks of him, even comic book fans, yeah. they think of Robert. Robert.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, but with there is also an incarnation of Spider-Man that very few people know about, and I doubt you even know. He's actually connected to two heroes. If two heroes are one.
Who?
Moon Knight and Spider-Man.
Really?
He's an interesting character to say the least. He's not really talkative as much. I mean, he is kind of.
Moon Knight is not talkative.
Kind of has a couple screws loose like Moon Knight, but but that one I really like. He had a lot of potential, but typical Marvel fashion, didn't know what to do with them. I mean, if you really look at how many like villains Spider-Man has, some of them we haven't seen in over 10 years.
Yeah.
He has friends that helped him out when he was a kid, a little bit when he was an adult, and then just went on a soul searcher mission, and we just haven't seen him since.
Disappeared.
Like the best example, like I keep, like there's so much potential for this one. Like there's so few Ultimate Universe characters that I respect and I like, and Jimmy Hudson is one of them. Jimmy Hudson is the son of Wolverine from the Ultimate Universe. And
so it's not Dakin. Oh,
no,
you said Ultimate Universe.
Ultimate Universe.
Okay.
He's in the regular universe. He teamed up with the young version of X-Men when they were in the present, but went on a soul searcher mission never seen again.
Because they don't know.
They don't know what to do.
They don't know what to do with them.
I mean, look at the Avengers now. They brought Blade because they don't know what to do with
Blade. I seen that. I'm like, what?
I mean, right now after this, I'm gonna go straight to the comic book store and go get that Blade vs. Wolverine comic. The artwork was on point. The story was better than a lot that I've read lately. But everything was just on point. And I like the whole concept of the uncanny X-Men with their old uniforms. Scott Summers with his classic 90s look.
Oh, you talking about with the strap and the blue? Yeah.
Yeah, and Wolverine with the golden tan.
Yeah, classic.
If they stuck with stuff like that, it would be amazing. But with stuff with Spider-Man, I'm afraid for him. I really am, because he's supposed to be, and there was already a prophecy about him from every future, villain or hero that came from the future to the present. Spider-Man's supposed to be the best hero there ever was. Here's an example. How many times, we all know how many times Captain America is, people trying to assassinate that dude.
Yeah, and one was successful, Crossbones, but yeah.
Yeah, but I'm talking about one of the earlier assassination attempts. Spider-Man jumped in front of that bullet.
Wow.
He didn't die, but Captain America said he's gonna be the greatest of all of us. And this is when he was still a kid. This is during his high school years, and he's jumping in front of a bullet. You know, I see so many. There's so much great potential, but the one thing Marvel has to stop doing is splitting up Mary Jane and Peter Parker. Like there's a I forgot who's writing it, but I have no respect for him because he's a I'm that's just my personal opinion. But I guess it's Mary Jane and Spider Man adventure, where they're supposed to be getting back together. How many times have they broken up? I mean, at one point they were married. And I guess, what was it, Mephisto?
Yeah.
Erased everybody's memory?
Yes. Yeah. Didn't Spider Man go to Mephisto and kind of like did a deal with the devil?
Something like that, but
Yeah.
because of his identity and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
But he's like, well, I want your marriage with Mary Jane dissolved, which is a kind of very stupid thing to ask for.
You know what's weird? Even in the Spider Man video game that came out recently, him and Mary Jane is not together.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you look in the past. You look not in the past. You think about the '90s and even early 2000s. Superman with Lois Lane.
Yeah.
Batman with Robin or Catwoman, depending on his mood at that night.
Right. Or Talia, depending on how you feeling.
Miss Date Rape.
Right.
Date Rape, the world's greatest detective, the advocate.
Man, that's crazy.
We're gonna save that one for an episode
You
by
gotta say,
itself.
yeah, that's an episode on its own. And ain't nobody complain about that too. If Batman did that, it would be hell. It would be hell to pay out here. Anyway,
Right.
go ahead.
And then you got, actually, no, then you got Spider-Man and Mary Jane. And you got Professor Xavier and, whoever he's with.
Moria.
And you got Cyclops and Jean Grey.
Jean Grey, yeah.
It says all those couples. That's who you always think of in the 90s.
Yeah.
Bruce Banner and Betty Ross.
Betty Ross, yeah.
We can go on for hours and hours and hours.
Flash and Iris West.
Yup.
I think that's Barry Girl or Wally Girl. Just clarifying. That's Barry Allen, right?
Oh, Iris?
Yeah.
Iris is Barry's.
Okay. Just clarifying.
Barry, it all depends which Wally you're talking about, though. But that's
another episode.
Yeah.
Too.
But they're supposed to be bringing them back together for, what, the 50th time? It's getting old. Honestly, I'm a veteran comic book reader. Abel over here is a veteran comic book reader. My mom who introduced me to comics books when I was 5 years old, she doesn't know nothing about comics, but she knows Peter Parker's supposed to be with Mary Jane.
It's just, that's like traditional, man.
Right?
You can't beat tradition.
Exactly. And then if you look at the 90s comics, what those two did together was gold. It was.
Yeah.
Yes, they had some of the silly stuff. Yes, they had stuff that just like that.
Yeah.
But still, they were together.
Yeah.
But Marvel's saying, oh, things need to change and everything. Okay, things need to change, but that's why you still have everybody with somebody. Well, except for exception with Cyclops. When Jean Grey died, he went to Emma Frost.
Mm.
I mean, it's still the same thing. You got Superman still with Lois Lane.
Yeah, I mean, you can't give. Okay, I understand every now and then you gotta insert another chick, but like the core tradition of Spider-Man, this man was madly in love with Mary Jane and not nobody else, and I don't understand like why they trying to slide other people in and make them permanent. Mary Jane is what drives him. Everybody know this. MJ is what drives. Not Gwen. Gwen Stacy's dead. Mary Jane is the one that pushes him.
I mean, I do have hopes for this latest run. I do, but I'm not having my hopes up because I've learned the hard way with dealing with Marvel. As much as I love them, I can't stand them. What they do, Like for instance, I love X-23. X-23 having her name. Why? Because she's a 23rd clone.
Yeah.
Apparently, her new origin is they brainwashed Wolverine to have sex with one lady. You know, that
is so stupid.
Wolverine is a horny dude.
Right.
He gets drunk and he'll find someone to bang.
How are you gonna brainwash somebody? Yeah, you gotta just get drunk and find somebody to bang, man. How are you brainwashing somebody just to do that?
How many kids does he have running around? You shoot. He has one who's a bisexual assassin, which honestly I have a lot of respect for.
Dakin.
Yup. You got one in the Savage Land. You got a couple of them without no powers.
Right.
So you meaning to tell me they brainwashed him for one woman? No, all you had to do was give this dude a 12-pack and he would have done it.
Give him a 12-pack. Give him a shot of give him a fireball. It's done.
And a couple cigars.
And a couple cigars. It's done.
Right.
It's done.
But nope, they brainwashed him to have sex with one woman.
Yeah, that's so freaking stupid, man.
And who found out about it was, it pissed me off. It was during Adamantium Agenda when it was X-23, Iron Man, and a couple others. Iron Man being the typical Tony Stark that he is, he hacked their systems, downloaded everything, he wanted to know everything. That one part of him is always the best thing to do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, Laura, I have some news, and then he explained how Wolverine they brainwashed Wolverine to have sex with one lady. Which is so stupid.
You know what? Honestly, I feel like Marvel. I feel like Marvel, kind of comic wise, all their ideas are kind of like ran dry, and they do stupid stuff. All the good writing is with the movies, but like
right, it is.
And one of Marvel's greatest writers to me, and you'll probably agree, Cleveland's own Brian Michael Bendis.
Oh yeah,
Michael Bendis, and
he's the one who helped make New Avengers.
Exactly.
When Spider-Man was finally able to join them.
Bendis actually created Miles, and Brian Michael Bendis, and I just had it in my head. He wrote the 2013 Infinity Story.
I can't recall.
Oh God, hold on, because a lot of the stuff in the movies is based on the stuff that he wrote. 2013 Infinity.
With the whole Infinity thing, I think that's where that's
Jonathan Hickman. Jonathan Hickman. Those are like their two, and Bendis left for DC.
And that's Marvel's fault.
That was a total screw up on Marvel.
That saying they dropped the ball, Marvel dropped the ball. That's the biggest understatement you can say.
Yeah.
For Marvel to let somebody like a golden dude like that go to DC.
Right.
DC already has some top guns, and all you did was just give them more.
Why are you helping your competition like that?
Because here's the thing: because they see how great the movies are doing, so they leave their core material alone.
They feel like they can afford to let go of their core material.
Their core source, I should say.
Yeah, core source.
What made Marvel.
Yeah.
On a back burner. I mean, if you look at some of the artwork today, like I was talking to my best friend, who's like a brother to me, Jalal.
Sorry about the dog, guys.
Yeah, he knows we're back here, and he just wants.
Mike Vick is not in the house. Yeah, he's okay. He has separation anxiety. That's all.
He's a mama's boy. He loves my mom.
Yeah.
And my mom just stepped out for him, and every single time she steps out, even if when she goes to the car, he starts crying. Like I love him to death, but he's very hyper. But what was I saying? Oh yeah.
About how Marvel, the movies have became their core source material, basically.
Yeah, I was talking to my best friend Jalal, and he loves Marvel to death. Even though he loves DC, he'll choose Marvel above all.
Yeah.
But he says he can't stand Marvel right now because, like, their artists are. It feels like they got him from kindergarten. I mean, if you look at some of their artwork, like when before Old Man Logan decided to go back to the wastelands, he looked like a blob with claws, you know, and they don't concentrate enough.
Right.
I was talking to Michael, the guy who actually taught me more than I already knew and showed me things that I didn't know. Marvel's always looking for a scapegoat. So if we bring this up to Marvel, Marvel will pick a scapegoat and fire him. But they'll still keep doing what they're doing. Like the Colossus incident. That was the dumbest reason in the world to fire anybody.
That was so stupid.
I mean,
so stupid.
Because he has something on the Quran on his shirt. That's why you're gonna fire him. Yeah. Why fire the artist? The editor didn't even pay attention.
Right. The editor wasn't doing his job. The editor is the guy that looks over everything, and
right.
and if he let it go, he the one should be fired. Like, I mean, bro, you're not doing your job.
Right. I mean, instead they fired that artist. That artist now is working for somebody else, and he's still making amazing artwork. Am I defending him? No. What the editor did and what the artist did was completely wrong.
Right.
But is it on? Should the editor get in trouble for this too? Yes, because he let it slide. He should have known. He should have been more watchful. He should have been editing for Christ's sake.
Right. It's just like when you're on a radio show and you got the FCC listening. If you cuss or you let one of your callers curse, that's probably like a $50,000 fine from the station, and you might be getting fired.
Unless you're Rover from Rover's Morning Glory.
Rover, yeah, that guy, they let him slide with anything. He might as well be on satellite radio.
He doesn't want to.
He doesn't?
No.
I mean, well, it has its disadvantages and advantages because when you got satellite, everybody not gonna be able to hear you, but you can say what you want to say. But here, everybody's gonna hear you, but you can't say what you want to say. But in Rover's case, Rover's just say anything.
I mean, look who his cast is. I mean, you got Mr. Skidmark Jeffrey. And you got Mr. Musclehead Dieter. And you got Miss I don't need sex forever for the rest of my life, douchey.
Right. Well, man, I don't even know how Rover's still in the air, but I guess. But yeah,
But when it comes down to Bendis leaving, it's a huge loss. I don't think Marvel cares because they're getting ready for Phase 4 in the movies.
Bro, MCU made like $21 billion. Do you think they even care about Bendis right now?
If Bendis would stay in the company, he would have made them. In my opinion, he would have made them more.
Yeah.
And just with comic books, story wise, let him do whatever. But when they gave him free reign, what happened with the storylines he made and the stories he was doing? Instant gold.
But see, this is another factor. It's just like the whole newspaper thing. Print media is dying anyway. Like, people not reading newspaper, people not reading books that much anymore. So it's like the comic industry would be dying because of this. Because back in the day, well, you older than me, but back in the day,
thank you for making me
but back in the day, you had no choice but to get up and go to the comic book store and read a book because it wasn't social media to take your attention away. It wasn't all this technology to take your attention away.
Yeah, but that could be also deceiving.
Yeah, exactly. That could be deceiving. Yeah.
Nothing beats the core material. Nothing will beat going to the comic book itself. Google will say this, Google will say that, but issue 53 says this.
Yeah, yeah. That's why when I be watching the Marvel movies with people, and to the people that have like no type of idea of the comic, it's always funny to me because these people legitimately think that Tony Stark was responsible for Ultron. No, sir, it was Hank.
I mean, Ultron called Hank father.
Right.
With the whole thing with, I'm still mad about Bendis. But Bendis, he has to do what he has to do.
I mean, yeah, he got to do what he had to do. But Marvel, you let Marvel, man. You let a great one go, man.
But you know what they're gonna do this to Miles, right?
What?
They're gonna make him go on a soul searcher mission right after Champions.
So he gonna get Ghost too.
Yup. That's almost a guarantee. No matter how many the movie that Into the Spider-Verse, which is great and everything.
Yeah.
But because it's Bendis' character, they're gonna make him go on a quote unquote soul searching mission. That's what I call ghosting.
Right. And see, another thing that was kind of weird about that whole Spider-Verse thing. I mean, the movie was freaking great.
Oh yeah.
But they won an Oscar. They won best animated feature. It's kind of crazy to me how everybody got up there on stage, and I did not hear not one person say thank you Brian Michael Bendis or thank you Stan Lee. Nobody said, man. I was watching the Oscar. Like, are you serious? Nobody saluted Stan Lee. Nobody saluted Bendis.
I mean,
you gotta be kidding
at least, me. Okay, I can see how Marvel don't want to thank Bendis because Bendis left. But at least thank Stan Lee. Stan made
if anything, thank Stan if anybody.
Right. I mean, if it wasn't for Stan Lee making Spider-Man, Bendis would have never made Miles.
Right. It was kind of disrespectful, especially after he passed. Like at that time, only like 3 months before that. That was not a good look. Very
disrespectful. But the only thing I saw the MCU do was that little thing before the movie. What was it before?
Spider-Man?
No. It wasn't before the Spider-Man movie. It
was before Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
could at least did
the
it for
Marvel
Endgame
studio.
Too,
yeah,
they didn't.
Yeah, they did it. Yeah, I thought they was gonna do it, but they did it. And see, you know what? I kind of wanted Stan Lee to be in Far From Home because how poetic is that the character, perhaps your greatest character, that will be your final cameo. That would have been crazy.
That would have been insane.
But the director said that he was already like sick at that time when he was doing Far From Home. He did the Endgame cameo way before that. He was already sick, so I say to myself, man, that would have been poetic justice.
I mean, when I found out a year before Stan Lee passed, it was his wife passed away.
Yeah.
I looked at my sister and I told her like Stan is next to go because
can't live without her, man.
Yeah, because she was his backbone. She took care of him. Yeah. She made him feel like instead of like the age he was, he made him feel like he was, younger than us.
Exactly. And then when she passed, I can tell because I had a sick parent before, and I can tell when they get sick, he kind of feel like, I'm not trying to be funny about it, but he kind of looked like he was almost like a balled up piece of paper, slowly just doing like that.
He just wanted everything to end. Just like I just want to go back to Joan. Yeah. But
the man was tired, but I don't want to. Let's not get sad. Yeah.
I mean, his legacy is still living on with Spider-Man and everything. Let's just pray that this latest run with Spider-Man and Mary Jane doesn't end up with, we're gonna break them up again for the 100th billionth freaking time. But let's talk about Mr.
Freeze.
Mr. Freeze.
Now, Mr. Freeze is one of my favorite probably my favorite Batman villain of all time. As you guys know, his origin story is his classic origin story was his wife. He was a scientist, and his wife had a rare disease. And while he was looking for the cure, he fell into some cryogenic liquid that turned his skin white, and he only lived in sub-zero temperatures.
Among other origin stories.
Other origin stories. Yeah. See, Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Zero?
Well, a.k.a. Mr. Z. He was named Mr. Zero in the 60s Batman show. He was...
No, it was the 60s Batman show that gave him the Mr. Freeze name. Before
in the comics, he was Mr. Zero. I'm sorry,
Mr. Zero.
Yeah, he was originally supposed to be like
a character.
And like a one-time villain. Like, he wasn't even supposed to be taken seriously. But then, as you guys know, in the cartoon made him what we know him now as a cold-blooded, no pun intended, a cold-blooded murderer. But see, the reason why I like Mr. Freeze so much is because, if you really think about it, if someone you deeply love, was taking care of you, well, when you was trying to do whatever you can to take care of the person you love, and they ended up dying, or or leaving you, you'll probably go on a murder spree too. Because in one of those,
or if in a cardiogenic state and trying to find a cure for her.
yeah, because in one of those, I don't know whether this was which origin this was, but like it was another origin that I read where it was the same thing where his wife was sick or whatever, but he found a cure. Then his wife got well again, and then she she left him. That was crazy.
That was just a huge smack in the face.
Yeah, that right there, I can understand why he went off because I spent all these years, all this time, sleepless night trying to keep you alive, and I finally kept you alive, and you went off and ran off with another dude.
Well, what did John Doe can do what I can?
Right. That's crazy, man. Oh no, go ahead.
As far as Mr. Freeze goes, the reason why I like Mr. Freeze is like he doesn't like teaming up with people. He at first they
all himself.
At first they did, but like they wanted him to go off on his own to be his own villain.
Yeah.
So that's why they had villains like stab him in the back. That's why like he doesn't trust them and he doesn't like them. Like if he sees one of them, he's not gonna stay clear. He's gonna point his freeze ray at him.
Yeah.
And try to kill him.
Yeah. And see, I also like, but see, most of his best character development came from the cartoons. Like my favorite.
Which cartoon?
Well, let me say this. Now, the original 1992 Batman animated series. Now, that was literally, I think that was Heart of Ice. That was probably one of their greatest episodes they made. But in the next Batman series, the new Batman Avengers, the one that looked like the Superman cartoon. Now, I like that because the disease he had basically ate up his body.
Yep.
Until it left his head. So he was kind of like this exorcist type character where the spider legs come out of his. Oh my god, that was so raw to me. And then they brought him back in Batman Beyond.
Yep.
Yeah, he was. Then they built him a whole new body. And then come to find out, like the I forgot what that guy, the bright guy, the skeleton, radioactive guy.
That Joker.
You didn't like Bright?
No, I don't like Bright because like Bright didn't last that long in the comics, and that just tell you something.
He really didn't last long in the comics, so he really didn't.
I mean, they were picking at straws with him on in the show, like, oh, we're gonna have this one, like, and Bright, and we're gonna have Joker and Bright.
You know what? He can't. I mean, you can't even really beat him. Well, you can. I mean, Batman can't fight him. Well, Batman Beyond can't fight him hand to hand, but that's another story for another time.
Yep.
But yeah, man, Mr. Freeze is a great character, man. It's just that like I'm a sucker for those tragic villains. That's the thing about me. Like those villains with the tragic backstory, I'm a sucker for those type of guys. Mr. Freeze probably got one of the most tragic backstories in comics.
I mean, he's part of Batman's Rogue Gallery. Each and every one of them, well, most of them, has a tragic backstory. It's either a tragic backstory or extremely jealous backstory.
Yeah.
You know, the extremely jealous one, if people are trying to figure it out, Thomas Elliot, Hush.
Right.
He was always been jealous of Bruce. You know, and when they made the Hush series, which to me is still one of my all-time favorite storylines. As a matter of fact, I might actually read that tonight. I still can't wait for the movie though. That DC Universe actor said that it's supposed to have it.
That Hush movie gonna be hot, man. They should have been made a Hush movie a long time ago. That Hush movie gonna be hot.
They should have done that before Under the Red Hood because that's when Jason Todd came back.
Yeah, that's when Jason Todd came back. Yeah.
But they, you know, because it's animated and you know, even though Marvel is movie giants, and they only have one great animated movie, Into the Spider-Verse.
Sadly,
you know,
their animation is like.
But what DC is doing is they stay with the core material and concentrate on the movie at the same time. Like they want great writers, great artists, great storytellers, great editors. They want the best of the best of the best.
And you know I'm a Marvel fan, but I want to say this, and you know me being a black person, I honestly believe one of the greatest writers and that DC had, and he died. Dwayne McDuffie. If Dwayne McDuffie stayed alive, DC really would have been killing Marvel in the comics. Like seriously, like if Dwayne McDuffie was still alive. Honestly, I don't know, you may not agree or not, but I put Dwayne Duffy behind Stan Lee.
I mean, to each is their own. We all have our lists, but I can't take nothing away from that particular person. That what he did was amazing. His runs were classics.
Dude,
you can never dog the man for what he did.
That Justice League Doom movie I think it was the last one he wrote. That was fucking amazing.
Yeah, but they took it from Tower of Babel.
Tower of Babel, yeah, that's that, which was another amazing story.
I mean, that just shows how dangerous Batman really is. Even though he's a human, he can still take you down.
It's like I don't understand why people keep saying this stupid shit about Batman is just a human. All he has is money, but that's the reason why it makes him dangerous.
If that's why, like, people like Mr. Freeze, they're intimidated by Batman.
Yeah.
Because, like, how can this happen? I have all these powers, and he's just a human, and he beats me every time.
Mind over matter, man. Mind over matter. It's just like, I think I told you before, the greatest episode of the Justice League cartoon I've ever watched was when Lex Luthor sent out this robot that can copy everybody's moves.
That was amazing.
Yeah. Like, he took Green Lantern's ring.
Yeah, but it wasn't Luthor who made him.
Not Luthor. It was somebody else. You talking about in the comics? It wasn't Luthor.
It was never Luthor. Even in the shows, it wasn't Luthor either.
It was somebody.
Luthor tried to steal the robot, but failed miserably.
I forgot who actually made it, but he was taking he took Green Lantern's ring. He took Flash speed. He took Wonder Woman's strength for her lasso. He took I think was Cyborg with him. No, Cyborg. I think Cyborg was with him. He took Hawk Girl's wings, I believe. So then he took Superman, or pretty much all of Superman powers.
Yep.
So then Batman popped up and he looked at Batman, and then he looked at Batman and wasn't no powers to take. So then Batman pulled out a piece of kryptonite. He was like, "Yeah, you take our strengths, but you also have our weaknesses." That was the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, because like,
oh god, that was one of the greatest episodes I ever seen, man.
I mean, like that damn writer. Oh, the guy who made him, little scientist guy too, but it's still one of the best. I mean, Amazo is not a man to be taken lightly, or a villain to take lightly.
Yeah, he didn't to take lightly.
I mean, every single time they disassemble him, they have to keep his parts, at least 100 miles apart from each other.
Right.
Or they will find each other and they will rebuild themselves.
Right.
I remember one of the Justice League issues I was reading. They called the Justice League Reserves, the Justice Society, the Justice Society Reserves.
Just Society of America.
Right, and they called the Outsiders. They called the Teen Titans. They called the Titans. They called the Doom Patrol. They could not beat Amazo. And he kept on saying, I have the Justice League will fall. So when everybody was knocked out, Superman was the only one standing. He's like, as the chairman of the Justice League, I hereby say Justice League is now disassembled. And Amazo said no and shrunk down and shut down.
Wow.
As something as simple as that, but still as deadly as he is. But that's still not taking away from how deadly Mr. Freeze can be. I mean, unless you're like the Human Torch, that's the only way you can get near him. Unless you're Batman too.
What's your favorite incarnation of Mr. Freeze?
Oh, definitely Batman animated series, hands down.
For me, it's between that and the second version of Batman animated series. But and then in the Batman, they made him organically shoot ice out.
I mean, yeah, that happens to him. Well, supposedly happens to him in the future. Mm-hmm. But like,
that was in Batman Beyond. Yeah, organic ice.
But it all depends who's writing and drawing him at the time. I've seen him with, a big chain gun looking freeze gun to one hand like a handheld Freeze gun. It all depends who's writing and drawing him at the time.
Yeah, he had an ice chopper, and one of them was like this long.
Yo, man, one of them was like a mini gun. Like, when the hell did this dude get a mini gun? I mean, and then like a couple months later, he has like looks like a revolver freeze ray. I'm like, what the hell? But still, like, when it comes down to Mr. Freeze, even during the what was it? What's that storyline called? When Gotham was hit by an earthquake. Aftershock. He was just wanted to survive. Like, he did not want to be bothered. He didn't even want to go out. Didn't want to go kill. Didn't want to go rob. He wanted to stay with his research.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Batman who was giving him a hard time. It was actually Clayface. Well, this incarnation of Clayface, who apparently had elemental powers with him, mostly fire. You know.
What? Clayface had fire powers?
You can see why that Clayface didn't last long.
Clayface is kind of a trash villain, but
it all depends who's writing him.
Here's what I'm saying. It all depends who's writing him. The whole shapeshifting thing is cool, but
right.
I don't know. I never really. I don't know, because I barely ever see Batman fight Clayface, especially like in the comic books.
In this latest run, he was part of Batman's family, actually.
So he's on Batman's side now.
Yeah.
Holy shit! That's exactly what I mean when I say DC do stupid stuff too.
But it was Batman who stopped that fight.
Yeah.
And actually took Mr. Freeze's side. Because when he analyzed the whole situation, it was Clayface being, call it realistic-wise, he was being the bully here.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. So not long after that, I think it was like a couple years afterwards, that version of Clayface was, destroyed. But Freeze, there's a reason why Freeze cannot be trusted with people with other villains like Thomas Elliot, Ra's al Ghul, because at the end, Mr. Victor will do what he thinks is best for him and his wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's not gonna go knocking on a Joker's door. Hey, let's go rob a bank together. He's not gonna do stuff like that. He's gonna be like, whoa, no, Nora needs me. I need to go find this whatever.
But you know what? It's like Freeze. Technically, if you look at context, he's really not a bad guy. He really became a bad guy when Nora left him. Well, either she died or he left, or she left.
Batman killed her, not on purpose.
Oh well, that's well, yeah, that would drive any man insane.
But there's so many incarnations. Like one, she got well and left him. Another version, she died. Another version, Batman actually saved her. There's so many incarnations, but Victor still remained the same. Something happened with Nora. Every single time that was a positive with Nora, something negative happened with Nora, and Victor would be Victor again. But as far as Victor doing his own thing, like that's why like Victor isn't a mainstream villain. Like when
he should be.
They tried, and look what happened in the movie.
Don't even remind me about that fucking movie. That freaking movie.
I mean, they had a great actor, but they just no.
Schwarzenegger
could during that time. Schwarzenegger could have pulled it off. But it was just the director,
the writing.
It was just all trash.
It's like they could have. The ice puns were too. I mean, I'm cool with the ice puns, but it was
just becoming ridiculous.
Yeah, too over the top. Like, all right.
I mean, after the 20th one, I'm like, okay,
right. Because he made ice puns in the cartoon, but it don't really be. It be more menacing. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and he would do it like not
sparingly almost.
Right, like. Once every other episode, like once every other time you would see him.
Yeah.
Not every single time you would see him.
Yeah.
But the reason why I think Schwarzenegger would have been amazing for him, look at Conan, when he played Conan.
Yeah.
Isn't that Mr. Freeze for the most part?
Basically, it's Mr. Freeze. Yeah.
You know, if they had the writing, if they had the producers, if they actually listened to us fans, because they could have that time, but they just chose not to.
Yeah.
Mr. Freeze would have been way better than the Joker.
And yeah, and bro, like, if they had, because I noticed that like they've been scared of Mr. Freeze ever since.
Right.
Ever since they're shook.
Because you did not hear what Arnold Schwarzenegger said?
What he said?
Even today, they interviewed him after he was done making that latest Terminator. They asked him what was the worst role he ever played. He said Mr. Freeze.
Of course.
I mean, he's played some ridiculous roles. I mean, one movie he was pregnant.
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Whatever that movie was, Mr. Mom or whatever.
Who knows?
I know what movie you're talking about, but that was ridiculous.
I mean, you had his first ever movie when he couldn't understand, he could not speak English. He had to have somebody speak for him.
Right. And then what's crazy, like,
he picked Mr. Freeze.
But what's great, of course, and that's what makes it funny, because a lot of Schwarzenegger's earlier roles require him not to do anything, like Terminator. All you gotta do is just walk and not say nothing. Right? That's easy. Like, come on, man.
I mean, like, he could speak. He's an amazing actor. It's just, honestly, I don't care what anybody says. It's not Schwarzenegger's fault.
It's the writer's fault.
It's the writers and whoever wrote that stupid script. And if I was Schwarzenegger at the time, I would have fired my freaking agent too.
Yeah, I would have fired my agent too.
Like, yeah, hello, what's your name? Yeah, you're fired. Bye.
Freeze well. Oh my god.
Oh my god, I forgot about that crap. Freeze well.
Let's kick some ice.
Oh my god. Like,
How bad can you
No,
get?
like, I would have been like, have a Snickers.
Right.
You got yourself have a Snickers.
Look. And ever since then, they've been shook of Mr. Freeze. Now, I feel like with the right directors, the right writers, Mr. Freeze will be freaking with today's CGI.
Oh,
Mr. Freeze will be freaking amazing.
Oh,
bro.
definitely.
Ooh, then he'll be amazing today. But
you know what's like, look at villains like Bane. Bane who hates everyone.
Amazing.
You know he respects Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, I knew that he respected Mr.
He
Freeze.
doesn't respect nobody.
Right, he doesn't care about anybody. He doesn't even care about
himself.
Himself, yeah.
But he respects Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
I mean, that should just tell you about him. I mean, Luthor respects Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, that's crazy. And Luthor don't respect a lot of people. He got too much money to respect people.
Decide that, deformed little SOB on Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Respects Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
Because Mr. Freeze isn't a villain by choice.
Yeah, he's not. That's what I'm saying.
He's a villain by circumstance.
A circumstance. Because he was robbing banks for what? So he can get money for research.
Exactly.
So he can cure his wife.
He wasn't going to go take some, Hawaiian vacation or go to the Bahamas or have a drink with an umbrella in it. No,
Yeah.
he needed these components to keep Nora alive, or Nora will not be Nora anymore.
Right, exactly.
She'll be dust, or,
Exactly.
popsicle.
Yeah, popsicle.
Moldy popsicle, but a popsicle nonetheless.
Popsicle. But yeah, I love Mr. Freeze, man. Like I said, favorite Batman villain. Batman usually has all like the themed villains, and the themed villains are kind of like old school, but like it's just something about Mr. Freeze, like the whole ice thing that I love, man. Like he just come through and just turn a room into a North Pole, and man, Mr. Freeze so amazing.
Yeah, we have my Hot Toys Deathstroke right there from Batman Arkham Asylum, and that just reminds me of when Mr. Freeze was in there. He did not want to team up with the Joker that time. He wanted to get out and keep continuing to try to save Nora.
Yep, I remember that.
He didn't care what the Joker was doing. He didn't care who was kidnapped. He did not care.
He all like, what that got to do with me?
It's like, okay, and Nora needs me. Screw you. I gotta get back to my research. Unless you're gonna contribute or donate or give me something, shut the hell up and let me go. Because if you don't let me go, I'm gonna freeze you, smash through you, and go. So those are your only two options. But at the end of the day, I'm still gonna go see Nora. I'm still gonna go work on it.
Yeah.
I mean, would I like to see him working with Batman one day? Maybe. I mean, depending who's writing and who's drawing. I mean, but I like Freeze the way he is. I hope Freeze stays this forever.
Yeah.
Because it's Mr. Freeze. I mean, he doesn't want a new ice age on the planet like how he's depicted in some of the movies.
Yeah.
Or in some of the shows. Even though those are still great episodes and great movies in the comics, no, I have to keep this place cold. Not only for Nora, but for me. I have to keep myself alive so I can keep working on Nora. I can't let this place be 1 degree. It has to be negative so and so for me to keep working.
And what I brought up earlier about the Batman Beyond cartoon, the fact that he was only a head made him basically immortal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was basically immortal. Like, and I think that was the origin. I think that was when Nora left him. I think that's what that was. But yeah, he was basically immortal, and he can live longer than that because I think when they made the body for him, and then after he gave up the Mr. Freeze suit, he was just a head again. I mean, he can live for like another 50, 100 years.
But in Batman Beyond, Freeze knew he was a villain by circumstance.
Yeah.
He had another chance, but villains like Bright and everybody wanted to extort him,
exactly.
they test on him because Bright was just wanted Mr. Freeze to cure himself.
Exactly.
And at the end of the episode, who wound up dying by his own hands?
Not Nora.
Freeze.
Freeze, yeah.
Because he's like, this isn't the life I want. I'm not a villain. I was never a bad guy to begin with. I wanted to save Nora. Now Nora's gone. I'm in a future where I don't recognize anything.
Yeah.
There's a guy trying to kill me because
I got a fake body. I ain't nothing but a head.
No, in Batman Beyond, no, he actually had his whole body. This is when they
I'm saying they built the body for him. They genetically engineered a body and attached it to his head.
Yeah, but he was like, no, this is not the life I wanted.
Yeah.
I'm not a bad guy.
Didn't he at the end didn't he basically sacrifice himself in a way? He told Batman to get up out of there or something? Yeah.
Because he was fighting Bright.
Yeah, the building was collapsing on him and he just
Batman wanted to save him. He's like, he shot him and just let him. He went out his own way. Yeah. Because he did not want to be in this future.
Yeah. See, that's why I say, man, like, I love those sympathetic villains, man. I mean, Freeze, like, you feel sorry for him, for real, for real. He's one of those villains that, like, you don't look at him like, oh, man, like, you disgusting. Like, oh, I don't like you. Like, you feel sorry for him. It's like, what would you do in that situation? You'll probably do the same thing.
See, the only thing that the 60s did, the 60s TV show, still one of the best shows on earth, because of Adam West.
Yeah.
Was change his name from Mr. Zero to Mr. Freeze.
Yeah. It's so old school, though.
Right.
So old school.
And here's something that I really have to mention this, because not that many people knows. Everybody knows about the movie Rocky.
Yeah.
Okay. Rocky Balboa's boxing coach.
Adrian. No, that's his wife. My bad. That's the wife. That's the wife's. My bad. What was the boxing coach name?
I'm not gonna tell you.
Victor.
You want to know something?
What?
He was one of the Batman villains in the 60s.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Are you gonna look it up? Yeah, go ahead, look it up.
I'm about to look that up, man.
Go ahead.
Hold on.
I bet I'll find it before you. Probably. I will. But yeah, he was one of the Batman villains. Not that many people know. I want to say he was the Penguin. I mean, he was Mickey. Mickey was the coach's name. I'm gonna look it up myself and still can't find his damn name. But yeah.
Paulie.
No, not Paulie.
Oh no.
Mickey.
I'm tripping.
I just said his name.
You just said you did just say his name.
Oh my god, like I still have a lot to teach you, Abel. It's okay though. It's okay. We're gonna get through this. I'm gonna help you, and you'll remember names. But yeah, he was in Batman's rogue gallery.
What the hell is this?
But as we're looking it up, I'm still trying to tell everybody about this. Still stuck. Where is it? Penguin.
Batman 66.
Yeah, he was the Penguin.
Wait, what? Oh, here it is.
Penguin. And looking at like I was not too long ago, I was watching that movie and I remembered. I'm like, who is this actor? I looked it up. I'm like, no kidding, it's Mickey. Like, I can't even take him serious now. Like every single time I watch a Rocky movie, I'm gonna hear him with an umbrella and all that crap.
Burgess Meredith from Cleveland, of all places.
Still, Batman villain.
Yep, Meredith has the Penguin on a classic 60s TV show.
What did I just say?
He got the monocle and the pipe and the top hat. Classic villain.
Exactly. And then I guess right after that show end, his biggest role today, even bigger than the Batman series, was Rocky. But I just wanted to mention that.
Mickey Goldmill.
Ya bum.
Well, I just want to before we switch topics right quick to our final topic, which will be Vampire Hunter D. I meant to ask you: have you seen? Do you watch Krypton?
Not the latest one.
No, I'm talking about like the just the first season.
Oh, the first season was awesome. But I see what you guys are doing because we had this debate already. I'm still a fan of Doom Patrol.
Oh, Doom Patrol, man. Doom Patrol trash, man.
No, how's Doom Patrol trash? Because you gotta look at it like this. See, you're gonna make me smoke a cigarette, dude. See,
y'all love Doom Patrol, man.
Because here's the thing, Krypton has a point. No,
I never said Krypton was whack though. I
know. Krypton has a point. Titans has a point. Swamp Thing has a point.
It got canceled, but yeah.
Yeah, because of that stupid ass accountant.
Yeah,
it's his damn fault. But what made Doom Patrol so awesome was they're not heroes.
They're like Suicide Squad.
They're not like Suicide Squad.
Say they're not heroes, so it's like
no. Suicide Squad was forced to do what they had to do, or they get the bomb exploding in their head.
Yeah.
So you can't really compare Doom Patrol.
They were persuaded to do that.
More like forced.
Forced.
That crap.
Yeah.
I persuade you to go stop this bank robbery, or I will press this button. You die.
That's stupid. Hey, that's grimy though. If you don't rob this bank, I'm about to press this button in your head.
If you don't stop this bank robbery, I will press this button. You die. That's your persuasion option. Hey. No, but Doom Patrol, they're not heroes. There was only one hero on that show, and that was Cyborg. You got you got Negative Man, who didn't want nothing to do with anything.
Well, what about the Tin Man, the robot?
Oh, Robot Man.
Robot Man.
There's nothing he could do. He was just looking after Crazy Jane. He had a father complex.
You know what's weird? When I see Cyborg is commonly associated with Teen Titans, it's just weird to see him with Doom Patrol. It's like y'all couldn't afford to put Cyborg in the Teen Titans or something. I mean,
no, but here's the thing. I like how you brought that up because when everybody thinks of Beast Boy, they think Teen Titans automatically.
Yeah, I do too.
But that's not where he came from. He came from Doom Patrol. In that Titan show, they paid homage to that. When they discovered Beast Boy, and Beast Boy took him to their house, whose house was it? Doom Mansion. Beast Boy came from Doom Patrol. Then he went to Titans. not the other way around. But everybody keeps forgetting that Beast Boy was with the Doom Patrol.
Now that's something that I didn't know. Cause like I said, like you said, I'm not even talking to Mike. Like you said, Beast Boy is commonly associated with the Teen Titans. So
Oh
it's like
yeah.
I didn't even know that he be with the Doom Patrol.
Oh no, he's not anymore. But he started out in the Doom Patrol. You know, like a lot of key stories with the Teen Titans happen with Garfield Logan being in it. As far as where he came from, his
Right.
first appearance was Doom Patrol because Elastic Lady was like a mother to him,
Mm-hmm.
and her boyfriend at the time was like a father to him.
Mm-hmm.
Robot Man was like an uncle. Negative Man was like an uncle. Chief was like a grandfather
Mm-hmm.
because he was young. Rita told him to go. Rita told him go live, go with your friends. You'll experience more adventure, more everything that you want to experience with the Teen Titans than with us.
Right.
Because at the time, Doom Patrol stayed in their mansion all the
All the
time.
time.
You got Negative Man who would cook up all these fantastic meals and he can't eat it himself half the time, which is hilarious. It's like a man who can't eat whatever. And then you got Rita Farr, freaking eating everything. But the introduction of Crazy Jane in there was amazing. I was like, "Oh, how you doing, Jane? F off, Rita."
Yeah.
No, she's like, "F off and die, Rita." It's still one of my favorite lines, like the introduction of her.
I'm gonna watch Doom Patrol over again, man, because it's I don't know, man. It's kind of like it's not. It's hard for me to like. I don't know.
Because people were watching it expecting them to be heroes. They're not heroes. And they mentioned that 1,000 times in the show. Even Cliff Steele said that he's not a hero. The whole concept of that was trying to find the chief. Yo, you took something away from us. We want it back. We want everything the way it was. We don't want to help this guy. We don't want to help this lady get her purse whose purse was just stolen.
Mm-hmm.
Did they have their heroic times? Oh, yes, they did. But their win-loss record was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But deep down, they knew. They knew it. Rita kept mentioning it. Larry mentioned it. Cliff mentioned it. Even, what's her name? Crazy Jane did. Said they're not heroes. And the only one who says we are heroes was Cyborg. How's that chili cheese burrito? With the fries.
It's pretty good.
See, whoever's listening to this right now, you go to Taco Bell, go get a chili cheese burrito and tell them to put the nacho fries in it. You will thank me later.
It's a godsend. Um, well, oh man, I shouldn't be eating in the mic. Um, yeah. Well, before we get out of here, we got one more topic for us to go over, and that's Vampire Hunter D for all you anime fans out there. Now,
One of the ultimate classics.
right, one of the cult classics of anime.
Yup.
And me being me a guy that watches anime, I had no idea about it until Kane introduced it to me like literally yesterday. and I kid you not, I had no idea about Vampire Hunter D. I watched Akira, I watched Ghost in the Shell, I watched Kenshin. I even watched the Berserk before. I heard of Berserk before, but never Vampire Hunter
Hey,
D.
you guys can never buy bad about Berserk because remember what's on my right arm over here.
You got the what you
Marcus Sacrifice.
Marcus like a sacrifice. I was about to say, yeah, man. I gotta get back into the Berserk. Yeah, I haven't watched Berserk in a while.
Watch the other one.
But the one from the '90s.
Yeah.
That's I mostly prefer '90s anime anyway. So
Or
that's
maybe if
something
you want, you can watch all 3 movies on Netflix.
When was the new ones released?
It's actually CGI a couple years ago.
But just like you said the other day, it's like you said yesterday, they gonna be waiting like 10 years to drop new Berserks.
They just celebrated their 30th anniversary, and Casca just got her sanity back. I mean, there's a saying about us Berserk fans: we know patience.
Yeah, man, it's just like Attack on Titan, man. I waited like 5 years for another Attack on Titan season.
And we're looking at you guys like, oh, that's cute. You guys waited 5 years for a new season.
Right.
We waited 10 years for a new chapter.
Hey, you know who else? Well, the fan base, which I'm also a part of, those patients, Rick and freaking Morty.
Everybody's a patient.
It's like they literally drop seed. They drop seed like every 2 years. I'd be like, man.
Oh no. There's a reason behind it. He only wanted to do 3 seasons and stop because he wanted to make sure. He wanted to make sure that he can keep on making. He can find a network that will continue on giving him more free reign to make these
You know
seasons.
what? You know what? Actually, that's smart.
He wanted 20 plus more seasons.
But see, actually, that's smart because if you drop a season every 2 years, you come back with more fresh ideas. You not burnt.
I have no idea. Someone just came up to my door and just took a piece of paper. I don't care.
But you had no idea. I mean, you come back with fresh ideas, and then you're not burned out. You don't. Just basically, the show doesn't decline in quality when you have that type of time off. Now, most of those shows that come back every year, you're gonna have a couple of dud episodes.
Oh, yeah.
I do not, because I've been watching Rick and Morty. I don't think there has not been one dud episode.
There is no dud episodes. I mean, each and every one is a new one. I mean, like, what was it? The one with when they teamed up with the superheroes in space.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be part 3.
Yeah,
and Morty was like, yeah, something part 2. It's like, it's actually part 3. It's like, what happened to part 2? It's like, oh, I ignored that call.
So I ignored that call. Yeah, it's just like I'm a big fan of Breaking Bad. And I watched all 5 seasons, and every season got like at least except for the last season.
You watched the secret ending, didn't you?
What's the secret ending?
You never watched the secret ending
of Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
No.
What?
You talking about like a post-credit scene?
No, there's an alternate ending.
No.
What?
No, I know nothing about this.
Okay. In Breaking Bad, the guy.
Which guy?
The main one.
Oh, whoa, yeah.
Yeah, well. Sorry, I forgot his name first.
I'm like,
what show was he in before Breaking Bad?
Malcolm in the Middle and X-Files.
Malcolm in the Middle was the secret ending. He woke up.
So he woke up as Hal?
He woke up and said he had a nightmare.
Oh my God. Man, oh my God. I gotta look this up. I don't know if I can do it if I'm recording. I'll look it up on my phone when I leave. So he woke up as Hal.
He woke up as Hal. Yes. It was everybody was laughing.
I had no idea about that.
But
my main point was I watched every episode of Breaking Bad, and every episode had like at least like 15, 16, I mean every season had at least like 15, 16 episodes. And you got dud episodes every now and then.
Here, I'll get up for you.
Okay.
Just pick one. Let's go tell people.
Yeah, so yeah, you get dud episodes with that, man. But with Rick and Morty, there are no dud episodes.
No, because each and every one is like a new drunken adventure.
Yeah, exactly. And everything, and it's funny and it's consistent. But before we jump on Vampire Hunter D right quick, I just want to tell you this. I think I've said this to you on the phone before. Futurama was the original Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah. Did he wake up yet? Or is he still sleeping?
No, he's still
sleeping.
No. Well, I guess he's still sleeping. Yeah, this is the last part of the last episode where he passed out in the lab.
Like, yeah, when you see that, like when a friend of mine, he sent me that. He's like, dude, this is the alternate endings. I'm like, wait, what?
I can't believe we did this whole podcast straight through.
Who?
Us. I can't believe this whole podcast literally went through with my laptop and everything. Like the sound didn't cut out, the program didn't stop. I'm
Oh, because like
surprised.
that's why I did your laptop.
Because the podcast I did a couple weeks ago, I had to basically cut it up in like 5 parts. This one's gonna be all one part. An hour and 45 minutes.
That's still good. It's good. Still good. Interruption.
Right.
How long is this video?
He passing out now.
Fast forward on that.
I did. The cops running up on him now.
The only one of my favorite episodes of Breaking Bad was the Two-Face Easter egg.
The Two-Face Easter egg.
Hold on. You're looking at it right now.
Hal scaring the kids. Hell no. Hal woke up from a nightmare. But alright, now Vampire Hunter D. I didn't make it through all of it, but it's a very interesting anime to me because the vampires are basically trying to create their own civilization and have
This is post-apocalyptic world.
yeah, it's post-apocalyptic world. So the vampires are trying to recreate their own civilization from scratch, and I believe the humans and the vampires occupy it, and then they genetically engineer and create their own monsters.
Well, there is still like other monsters like werewolves. That's in is in the first movie, but excuse me. But they still keep true to the myths. Like the older the vampire, the more powerful he is.
Exactly.
In the Count, in the first one, he's supposed to be almost as old as Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
Like the only person who would be more powerful than the Count right now would be Dracula if he was still alive.
Right.
But then you have this wandering hunter, just calling himself D.
Mm-hmm.
Killing everybody, killing all these monsters with that giant, very skinny sword. And everybody doubted that skinny sword, but that skinny sword killed more demons and vampires alike than you can count.
Mm-hmm.
And that parasite on his hand, which is, it's pretty funny.
That's the comic relief you said.
Yep, and you couldn't find it, and I had to tell you where it is.
Uh-huh.
It's his hand. His hand is actually a parasite. His face will disappear, so he can use his hand. But when he wants to say something, the face will appear. You see the 2 eyes, the mouth, and he'll be talking.
Yeah. I brought the DVD over because I thought you wanted it back. That's why I brought it over.
Oh, I thought you watched it already. It doesn't matter.
No. Well, okay. Well, I'm because I was salty. I was about to watch this in one night. Now I can't watch it all, but I thought you wanted it back. But I'll watch the rest of it.
You just better take care of it because
Oh no, I take care of things like that.
Because it's not hard for me to find it, but the remastered one. The one I let you borrow?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I already know how that is because
you could, like I said, you could borrow it. I trust you. If I didn't trust you, I wouldn't let you borrow it.
Yeah, I wouldn't. No, man, I wouldn't. I'm not gonna do you like that.
Maybe you should put the Spider-Man game down instead of sharing it on Facebook.
Yeah, but that game was amazing.
That game is amazing, but I just had to throw that at you. Like, so instead of just watching the movie, he wants to play Spider-Man.
Hey, no, I had to get back on there because they made the what's the name suit a DLC.
What?
The Far From Home suit. So I had to get back on there and download the Far From Home suit.
I don't care about the Far From Home suit. You're gonna laugh at me, but you know what suit I used to use?
What?
The Ben Reilly Scarlet Spider.
I don't even like that suit that much, man. I mean, it's classic, but it's like
That's one of my favorite Spider-Mans.
like I said, man, I'm such a traditional Spider-Man guy. It's either gonna be a suit from the movie or his traditional red and blue costume. It's like, and plus on top of that, they got the whatever that one armored spider, not Iron Spider, but it's another armored spider suit they got in there. I don't know. It's just I just don't like super armored Spider-Man all like that. I don't know why. 2099 is cool, but anyway,
That's the next suit I gotta get.
huh?
I gotta get that suit. It's 2099.
Yeah, 2099 cool.
But getting back to the anime, there was a part of the movie. Everybody thought, like when I first watched it, I thought that Parasite was useless.
Yeah.
But and I thought he was just a comic relief. But he is actually one of these main Arsenal weapons because there was a part where, you know, in both movies, in the first movie he was trapped in like some sort of invisible web. D just said one word. The parasite came up and sucked it dry. Like, you know, sorry about the pun, but he inhaled it, and the web was gone. In the second movie, you see the hand of D using his hand, touching this wall, is like, find the door. It's like, nope, 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 nope. Oh, it's right here. You know, and because he's half vampire, half human, he has to remind D, like, yo, you're in the sun too long. You get out of the sun. You know, your human part can take it, but your vampire part cannot. You need the rest every once in a while.
Like he's a hybrid.
Yeah, he's a Don Peel.
So they're kind of like they can be day walkers.
Yeah,
kind of like Blade. How Blade can walk out in the daytime.
But if you want to go like that, he is the original day walker because I'll tell you why at the end. You know, he's fighting Count's ghouls. He's fighting Count's minions, and then when he gets to the Count himself, Count is wiping the floor with him. But D's not taking any damage. You know, it's when D unleashes his power, the Count was like, who the hell are you? And he is utterly destroyed, but before he was destroyed, he has a mantle. Like almost like a big giant painting of Dracula. He looks at Dracula, then he looks at him, he's like, you're Dracula's son. So if you want to go with Daywalkers, he is the original Daywalker because of who his dad is. And he is as old as all, you know, he's older than Count. That's why he was able to overpower him with almost ease. The reason why he'd rather go physical attack is because he doesn't like using his vampire powers. He doesn't. He kills vampires. He wants to send them all to hell. He wants to kill every single last one of them, and he's made that perfectly clear.
You know who he looked like a little bit to me? V for Vendetta for some reason.
Go jump off a bridge.
No, I'm talking about like the way he's drawn, the pointy chin and the big hat. For some reason, I don't know why he remind me of V for Vendetta a little bit. But yeah, I gotta watch the rest of that, man, because I like stuff like that, you know, like about post-apocalyptic stories and stuff like that. I gotta check the rest of that out.
And
man.
what's amazing to me is that manga is still going.
Oh, it's still going?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know, they made a few video games. It was okay. You know, but well, it's okay now because, you know, of today's gen consoles. Well, back then, when it was on PlayStation 1, it was actually really good. Well, yeah. I mean, vampire, like I told you, you know, you found out the hard way that it's the ultimate cult classic. Like how I found Vampire Hunter D. Remember Suncoast videos that was in the malls way back in the day?
What was it called?
Like Suncoast videos or something like that.
You mean Funko Land?
No, not Funko Land. Suncoast.
Suncoast. No, I don't. It was remember.
Like a little ass video store that was in the malls. And when I was a kid, when my mom took me to the mall, I would either go to the toy store or I'd go to the video store. And toy store was obviously always packed, so I didn't want to deal with it. And went to the video store. This is before I knew what anime even was. And I saw this is when like I just watched Interview with the Vampire for the very first time. So I was really young. I was really liking vampires. I asked this lady, like, do you have any vampire movies? And she's like, I remember, she's like, no, I do not have Interview with the Vampire. I said, no, I didn't want that. I want something else. It's like, do you like cartoons? I'm like, cartoons? Yeah. It's like, well, this isn't American cartoons. This is what they call anime. She handed me this video. I'm like, oh, this seems pretty cool. So I asked my, because of how young I was, I didn't have no money. So I asked my mom to buy it. She bought it. Went home. I put it in a VCR. Yes, that's how old it was.
Yeah, I remember the VCR.
Oh, yeah. You kids today will never know the hardship of a VCR. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
You'll never know what it's like to rent a video, then try to sit there and rewind the whole thing back. Otherwise, you'll get fined like $3 if the tape not rewind back. Right. I could have sworn they had like the rewind fee at Blockbuster back.
I remember that rewind fee, man. But I watched it and I was blown away by how violent it was, how amazing it was. Because, like, cartoons for me back then, it was, Looney Tunes, stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Then all of a sudden you throw Vampire Hunter D at me. And that basically opened up a doorway to all these other animes. Like, I went back and I thanked this lady. I never saw her again after that. But I don't know, not to sound like a, selfish person, but I really don't care what happened to her because,
that was harsh.
I mean, come on now. I was like, hold on, I'm not going to buy nothing till this lady comes back. I mean, come on now. I don't even remember what the heck she looks like. But, yeah, it was because of her I found out about anime. And, everybody has something to introduce them to anime. And I will pray to God for you guys. If your first anime was One Piece, I will pray for you.
Yeah, pray for the fallen. Because a lot of people first anime was Dragon Ball Z.
I mean, you can't really dog.
Well, okay, I'm not trying to roast Dragon Ball, but it's so default. It's like McDonald's now.
No, but if that was your opening back then, if that was your opening back then.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
That was totally acceptable.
Yeah.
Name one kid who was not loving Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I did. I like Dragon Ball. A bunch of my friends like Dragon Ball. It was another one we used to mess with too. Bleach.
Bleach wasn't back then.
Yeah, Bleach was back then.
Bleach was not back then.
Like in the early 2000s.
Early 2000s. I'm talking about 90s.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm talking about high school. But all right, yeah.
I'm talking about VHS here.
Yeah, you talking about VHS. What about Pokemon?
Oh yeah.
Pokemon was that
Pokemon
was back then.
VHS.
Yes.
It's Pokemon.
Yeah, but
everybody loved Pokemon, but I was like, after Vampire Hunter D, I'm like, I don't want a Pikachu.
Pokemon was too mainstream.
Oh
just like how Dragon Ball hella mainstream now. So,
out of both of them, Pokemon and Dragon Ball, Pokemon's more mainstream. You got Pokemon Go.
Yeah, that's
Pokemon Watches that it'll tell you when this is raid with this.
Yeah. But so back then in the late 90s, Pokemon was crazy mainstream. Then it died down a little bit. Now it's back. It may not seem like it, but it's back with the Pokemon Go and all that.
You want to hear a secret though?
What?
During that Pokemon era, when there was Pokemon cards and everything, those 3 rare cards of Blastoise, Venusaur, and the rarest one Charizard. Yeah, I have them in my basement.
Lying.
I swear.
You still have them?
I still have them.
Mine got stolen.
No one knows where it is. I'm the only one who knows because I know that basement better than anybody. It's hidden pretty well.
Sell them.
I will sooner or later. I'm not gonna lie, when it comes down to like collectibles, I don't care about those Pokemon cards. I really don't.
Is it even worth anything?
Oh yeah, that Charizard is.
Oh.
So is that Venusaur and Blastoise, but not as much as Charizard.
It's like, bro, look, side note. I had the Death of Superman comic. I went to the comic store. Which one though? Look, I had the one. I don't know if it was the original one or not, but I brought it to the comic store. I said, "Hey, I'm trying to sell this. How much can I get for it?" He said, "Oh, $1.50." I'm like, "Are you serious?"
You
Look, wait now. There's two covers of Death of Superman that I seen. I had the one where uh his cape was like a flag in the middle of destruction, and then there was another one, and then I could have sworn there was a different cover, like a I guess the original cover. What?
I've never seen anybody sell a Death of Superman for $1.50.
I didn't know. I didn't sell it. I just looked at him and
So
just
I'm gonna leave
walked
this up
out.
to you guys because I'm Kane and that's Abel. Kane kills Abel. In the Bible, yeah, that happens, and we're not here to talk about the Bible, but I will make that happen.
I did. I didn't sell it. He said $1.50. I'm like, I thought it was worth more than that.
So you didn't sell it.
No, I didn't sell it.
Okay, good, because I was about to say.
I just said I didn't sell
I
it.
was gonna finish this podcast, and I was gonna,
No, I did not sell it for
dispose of your body
$1.50.
like in a wasteland.
No, I did not. I did not sell it. I just looked at him like, oh, okay, and I walked out.
That guy probably was like, this kid's an idiot. I can try to get this for $1.50 and then sell it for $50.
I was like, cause I was thirsty too. I was all like, cause this guy named Mike, shout out to you. This guy named Mike when I used to work at Walmart just gave it to me, and I'm all like, bro, this is the Death of Superman. He was like, yeah. So then I kept it in on my basement shelf for a while, and then when I was desperate for money, I thought I could sell it, and I didn't get $1.50. I'm not.
I would have just showed my words wise. I like when money got tight, I would have, start selling some stuff. Like instead of saying I got desperate for money, like now I just want to drug test you.
Wait, what you need a drug test me for?
I'm just joking.
Everybody say what I need to be drug tested for. I wasn't trying to sell that comment for $1.50. I wasn't that thirsty for $1.50.
The rock's at least $5.
But yeah, like man, I had a back to Pokemon though. Like I had a holographic Charizard. See, where I was at, we was still they were not we. I wasn't, but they were still in Pokemon cards. That's how serious it was back then. But I think I still got a holographic. I think I still got a holographic Gyarados at the house.
Congratulations.
I can't get nothing for that crap.
No.
No.
I remember how I got that Charizard. It was me and George. And I don't care if George is listening because me and him are still not talking to each other and he knows why.
It's beef.
No, like, he has a mind of a 12-year-old.
Oh.
And we're over our 30s. Like, come on now. But, we went half on, a Pokemon, cards, in the pack. And I said because he wanted Mewtwo really bad.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you can have all the cards. If it's Mewtwo, you can have the holographic cards and I keep the cards. But if it's not Mewtwo, you can keep the cards and I can keep the hologram. He said, deal. We opened it, it was Charizard. He was mad as hell. Like, to this day, he was he was so mad.
Wow. Whoa.
And everybody looked at him and was like, you're an idiot.
Wow.
But as far as Vampire Hunter D, yes, there's two movies. There's Vampire Hunter D and Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. I mean, you can watch one in either order, but I prefer to watch the one, Vampire Hunter D, the first one, the one from 1985, because it's more of an introduction for him.
Mm-hmm. Origin story.
Not even an origin story. It's like, it lets you get warmed up to him, like, why he won't use his vampire powers first. Why he doesn't like using them.
Okay.
In part two,
I heard that in the mic. Jesus.
Sorry.
You just crashed on. I heard that. Wow.
I have to, man. Like, if I don't crack it, it gets numb.
You need a chiropractor or something.
I need a whole new body.
But what you were saying about Vampire D?
But in part two, it continues on. But there's always something good at the very end. Like, the endings are very important. Like, I'm not gonna say the ending of part two because that means I would have to explain the whole entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of twists and turns in that one. So I prefer just to recommend people to watch it. Believe it or not, I think it's even on YouTube. Like somebody posted that whole movie on YouTube.
They gonna get flagged soon. But
I
yeah,
doubt that because I think I can always find it with ease. I've been like watching that off of YouTube instead of just getting my lazy ass up and putting the Blu-ray in my PlayStation. But in part one, yeah, it was revealed that he was Dracula's human son. Like Dracula had an affair with a human woman, and D was the result.
so that was just explains why he's a hybrid. But he
Yeah. Oh no, yeah. By the way, that was the first time I ever seen nudity in a cartoon. By the way, too.
in Vampire Hunter D.
Yeah, the shower scene when she's taking a shower.
I mean, full everything.
Yeah, that's the first time I've ever seen nudity in a cartoon or anime.
The first time I ever seen nudity in anime was actually Ghost in the Shell when she came out of the.
Oh yeah. That was the very beginning.
Yeah, the very beginning. It wasn't the very beginning. It was a few when she jumped off the building.
Yeah, there was a few points where she was nude, but
Yeah.
I remember she was nude in the very beginning.
Yeah, it was the very beginning when she jumped off the building,
Yeah.
and then towards the end when that big tank robot was
Yeah.
shooting. Yeah. And I'm disappointed that Scarlett Johansson wasn't the same in the movie. But anyway,
They whitewashed that movie. That we will not talk about that trash.
yeah. They took Scarlett Johansson and threw her wig on her and called her the Major. Not even the last name, just the Major. Wow. But anyway, that's another podcast.
No,
But
I
anyway.
refuse to be on that one. You can do that one by yourself.
But
We can talk
anyway,
about the anime, but not the movie.
but anyway, well, yeah, the anime is another podcast. But anyway, is there anything else you got to say about Vampire Hunter D?
He's extremely underrated. Like, if you find the movie, definitely buy it. Definitely not cherish it, but like, it's one of those hidden gems.
Yeah.
Especially with anime nowadays, like, find a hidden gem like Vampire Hunter D is extremely rare. It's always gonna be in my top 5, and the other ones is Fist of the North Star, Akira,
Classic.
Ghost in a Shell,
Classic.
the '90s Berserk.
Classic.
It's always gonna be in that list. But that not many people know about Vampire Hunter D, and didn't even know about the mangas still being around too. I read them from time to time.
I didn't know about Vampire Hunter D until you told me about it.
I got
like, yo.
I let a friend of mine. I don't know how he gets these alerts, but every single time there's an alert of a new chapter of Vampire Hunter D and Berserk, he always tells me, and I read it right away.
So he has like the e-comics thing. Oh wait.
No, he reads them off.
Reads them off the okay.
Online.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, the
he gets an
e-com.
alert.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
He gets an alert when there's a new chapter on both.
That's another thing, man. Like you can get comics straight to your computer now, your phone.
And then how mangas are, you gotta read it. You gotta go backwards. Online, they fix it for you. You can just go the regular way.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, 2 hours and 8 minutes. Well, we're gonna cut the podcast off right here. I hope you guys enjoyed us. Once again, my name is Abel, and that's Kane, the one and only psychotic one.
Hey, I was psychotic when I was 18. I'm 35. I'm a full blown lunatic at this point. Insane. Shoot, are you trying to flatter me with making me feel young?
Stay tuned, guys. We'll be coming back with more in the next episode, and we haven't discussed that yet. So, be safe and have a good day. Thanks.
You better come back too.